Welcome to IB Unplugged, a Cognity podcast for IBDP educators that tackles your submitted challenges and questions by connecting you with experts and peers who share their ideas and stories from real classrooms. Whether you're a seasoned educator or new to the IB world, each biweekly episode and guest aims to equip you with practical tips and positive inspiration, helping you teach with more confidence, creativity, and joy. So whether you're walking your dog or commuting to school, hit play and join a community of educators ready to learn, laugh, and thrive in your IB journey. Hi, everybody, and welcome to IB Unplugged. Believe it or not, it has been a full year since our first published episode, and we thought we would take a moment to kind of reflect on the last year. You notice we don't have anybody in the hot seat right now, just the both of us. And we kind of had this idea from a couple of questions that came in, not just from our listeners, but also people on the team. And we just thought, this would be kind of a fun way to talk about the year gone by, maybe reflect on things that we've learned, interview each other a little bit, and give you a chance to know us more than just kind of asking questions and facilitating interviews.
Yeah, so this is going to be a fun episode. We've got questions in the bowl from our producer, and we are going to see how it goes. We'll pick a question, answer it. Hopefully this will be fun. No, I'm sure it'll be fun. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be informative.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully it's not a waste of your time listening to this one as well. But we thought it'd be a great way to kind of just reflect on the year gone by. So let's dive in. Yes. Ladies first. You get to pick out whatever question you like from the bowl.
Yes. All right. Ooh. Who is your dream guest on the show?
Oh, wow. Starting
off the bat. Right there, yeah. There's no warm-up question here.
It's got to be Dweck. It's got to be Carol Dweck.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Growth mindset. Yeah. That sort of thing. I mean, I realize that, that research and the publication of that book is, over a decade, ago. But
was it that long ago? Wow.
Yeah, but it's still super powerful. And I know there have been some really important pieces of work that have come out since then. But it's just super relevant. I would love to chat with her. I would love to kind of pick her brain a little bit more than what's been out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's influenced how I think about my job, how I think about how I want to raise a child. Mm-hmm. No, that's a good one. Yeah. Let's stick with that.
All right.
Here, you go. I was going to mix them up.
You can't pick them for me. The point of the game is I pick one.
Okay.
Pick one. All right. Let's see. What are some themes that kept resurfacing in the last year?
Sometimes people talk about AI. I don't know.
Every once in a while, it felt like we were talking about artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's come up. The Dr. Chat. AI for sure.
Yeah, it's just constantly a recurring theme, and you can see why. I mean, everybody's really quite concerned. I think it's, Gen AI has made almost all of our assessments vulnerable. Almost all the ways that we assess and understand students is vulnerable.
That's come up a lot too.
Yeah, so I think it's only natural that we look at, okay, what are the ethics of it? How are we using it? We know our students are using it. Should teachers be using it? What are the ethical ways we can be using it? Yeah. It's a broad topic, actually, more than you would have thought.
Right.
And I think every one of our when we did warm-up questions that were like, what do you think is going to come up in the future? What's the future of education?
We used to do that.
We used to do those warm-up questions.
There was no way of not talking about
I think
AI.
that's why we stopped doing that as a warm-up question. We're just like, this isn't telling us more about this person. It's just telling us more about the state of play in education right now.
Yeah. What was one of the most funny or fun things about hosting an episode?
I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun hosting with you. I'm not just saying that because, we're on camera. Like, it really is. And, I appreciate that you will laugh at some of my terrible jokes just because, why wouldn't you? And that I think that's a lot of fun. But also just recognizing that I think education is a fun.
Yeah.
It's ultimately a fun thing.
Yeah. That was what we said in our disco, our discovery process.
Right. I learned some business speak, and disco means discovery, and that's a thing.
Yeah. John's very corporate now. No. It was like, I don't want to do this if I'm not having a good time.
Yeah.
And teachers don't want to listen to a podcast if they're not also... It's so precious, the time that teachers do have to consume any additional content.
Yeah.
So that's fun. I also think doing the episodes in person is really fun. That's been great.
I mean, I don't think we can talk about this without reflecting on doing Lance's episode, because Lance was in New Zealand.
Yes.
And we, of course, we're over here in Austria. And so we were up at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And Lance had just woken up.
Yeah.
So we're late at night.
We've had dinner already. We're just like sitting around a school at 11 o'clock at night, waiting for Lance to wake up and have his coffee.
Yeah. Do some juggling for us and tell us about ATLs.
Yeah. That was good.
On the back of this one, morning recording or late night recording?
Late night. I am not a morning person.
Morning, obviously. I prefer the morning. More often than not, I've been up for a few hours before we even like start thinking about the day. So
yeah, and like when we have a 9 a.m. recording, I'm like scrambling into the office, like chugging coffee, and John's been there for 5 hours.
Like, let's go. Still part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yet we were able to communicate well enough on a podcast.
Yeah, miracles do happen. Who checks the mic levels and who forgets? I forget.
Obviously, and I check the mic levels.
Yes, it is very clear for everyone when Catalina, our producer, is in the room or not.
Seriously,
everything is better when Katie is there.
We started an episode and I kind of looking like, oh, where's Katie this week? I thought she'd be around here. No, okay. One thing podcasting has made you better at?
Listening.
Yeah,
listening. I mean,
same.
Having an hour or 45 minutes, whatever it is, of just being fully focused on what somebody else is saying. It's always really interesting, but it does take work, especially these days when you're so used to getting distracted by something. The active listening is something I feel like I've gotten better at. Yeah,
I would absolutely agree. There's so many times when I get into it and we're talking with somebody who I'm learning new things about them as well, and just trying to think, okay, what have I actually totally understood this, and really kind of putting myself in that position of just like, I'm totally a learner right now, and let me reflect this back. Like, did I get this right?
Yeah.
That's become something that I not only use in podcasting, but then I use it in my professional life too. When I'm talking with different teachers and whatnot, they express a problem or something that's going on.
I love when they say no. You're like, so let me get this straight. If I understand correctly, and you send like a sentence trying to summarize what they're like, no, John.
I know, right? Yeah, that's a pretty exposing moment.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I think I understand this. You said this, this, and this. I'm like,
no,
wrong, not like that. But that's helped me out a ton too. Yeah. Just working with people here at the school, and like, okay, are you telling me this? Is this what you were telling me? And then they say, no, John, you need to get better at listening. And I say, I am working on it.
Yeah. What would surprise listeners most about you as an educator?
That not all of my students get 7s all the time. I often kind of...
Is that what you think people think about you?
Obviously. Everybody's like, oh yeah, he must have, perfect scores.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not, but I would assume that might be a little bit surprising, is to be like, yeah, no, I get, kids who are pulling sort of 2s and 3s, and I struggle with it too. And I play through all these different things that we've talked about with different hosts, and I try these different approaches, and sometimes it just like doesn't land.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something that would be surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not.
Or not. They're like, no, I knew that. Yeah. Best advice you've received from a guest?
I know we already talked about Lance, but I'm going to have to bring it up one more time, especially in my work setting, I really think about the failing well and making space for that, and celebrating good failing when you might not have done what you thought you were going to achieve, but what did you learn from that? And those learnings are a win. And really getting comfortable and vulnerable in that space of like, perfection is not the only success.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what's really been present for me now as I reflect on the conversation I've been able to have with people here in the show, and then I go back to my own practice, my own teaching, is just more and more relinquish my own control of the pacing of the class.
Okay.
Like I've learned these things, and I constantly think about them. I talk about them a lot in workshops and that sort of thing. And then it's just like, reflect on your own practice and recognize how frequently I am trying to control the pacing, or I am like, right, we're going to learn this thing and I will teach it. Yeah. There have been multiple times we're just talking with people over the last year where I recognize you don't have to be in control of the pacing. You don't have to be in control of a lot of the stuff that you think you do. And that's been a really good piece of advice, not necessarily from any one person, but it's kind of been a recurring theme, I think, that was useful for me. The episode that surprised you the most after recording.
The episode that surprised me the most after recording was Jen Olmsted.
Yeah.
When I love Jen, and I was like, I don't even care what she talks about. I want her on the podcast. And so we talked to her, and she's like, I want to write about Euros. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And you're like, no, EURs. And I was like, okay, I still don't know what you're talking about. You're like, inquiry upon result. And I'm like, John, what is this?
In English to me.
What is this topic? And then you described it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be just this, like, I'll ask the questions that we prepare beforehand, and I don't think I'll have anything.
Sure.
But actually, it was a really, really interesting conversation around not just the inquiry upon result process, but really this idea of how teachers can lean into working with feedback and learning from their mistakes.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I mean, the very obvious thing of like, you should do what you ask your students to do, and to reflect on the assessment and the feedback that came from it and try to get better at it. That was, very good.
How has your own thinking or teaching philosophy shifted in this past year?
So often I come away from our episodes and I'm inspired and I want to do what we've just spoken about. I'm like, I should implement that. I should bring that in. And sometimes I get a little bit knocked about. Like I kind of, I'll try that. Let me try this. Let me try that. And so there's a certain extent to which I feel like maybe I've lost a little bit of just like do the thing and go for it. But at the same time, I'm so inspired by what we can do differently, and I want to try those things. But I think I'd have to come back to what I was mentioning before of just like, I don't have to necessarily be in control. And some of the best ways that that's come up is, like, I think back to Damien's episode where we talked about blended learning.
Yeah.
And I made a real conscious choice this year to like, I'm going to integrate studio time. Like I can't do that for the whole school, but I can do it in my own lessons. And so like I shifted my lessons from, okay, we're going to have seminar, which is kind of me, like as Damien was describing, like me lecturing, if you will. And then I'm going to have studio time, and then I'm going to have lab time because, within biology. And it was interesting because my DP year 2 students who have been with me for a year and a bit, they didn't like it. I think they kind of got used to me, lecturing and that sort of stuff, or leading the learning.
Yeah.
Whereas my DP year 1 students, like, they love it. They love the idea of like studio time and kind of working on their own. And so, just that constant reflection of, I don't have to run all of this sort of stuff. I need to let the students kind of choose their entry point. And I guess from that, a recent episode where we were looking at UDL, Universal Design for Learning, and this idea that like, I can use differentiation way better than I am. And a lot of that comes down from, just release the reins, man. Let them kind of go a bit and they'll be all right.
Nice.
Oh, all right. IB learner profile trait question. Which is your strongest IB learner profile trait? And which do you wish was stronger? You're trying to remember all 10.
I am going to pick the communicator.
However you want to communicate that to me. Communication.
Communication. That was my third guess. Communication, I think I would put as my strength, not as in like, I'm so good at talking, but the listening part. I think that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to be able to do the podcast, because I really do love listening to people, but also not just hearing them, but listening and really being able to move a conversation, not just to make sure everybody's part of the conversation and make sure that people can be uplifted into bringing their perspectives, and all of these kind of pieces, I feel like is something that's important to me. That I do a lot.
Well, I mean, even to have the idea of let's have a podcast, because there's a space here that we feel is a way that we could communicate better. And we can communicate different things to IB educators that are going to be meaningful and impactful in their practice. Like I really respect you for, for coming up with this idea. Like, this is a space that we need to have. And it kind of goes beyond webinar and workshop and other resources. It fits a really nice medium that I think, it communicates a need for people. And it's been really cool going to conferences and that sort of stuff and talking with people who are like, I listened to the show.
Yeah.
You know, and it
like, it's not just my mom.
Yeah. All right. Which learner profile trait do you wish was stronger? That's the second part of the question.
Yes. The balancer.
Yeah. Actually, as soon as I kind of made a joke about you saying communicator, I think it is communicator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Balancer. I don't think that's
not it. Balanced is the one. I do know it's balanced.
I would pick balanced, not in the like work-life balance thing, but the idea of being able to be, how do I show up in a balanced way? I think I am an emotional person, and I'm somebody who leads with emotion, and I'm really proud of that because I think that I can create a vulnerable space for people where I can express how I feel about things, and that makes other people feel like they can also express themselves, and it creates a really safe place. Yeah. But I think that there is an element of that needs to be balanced. And when you're leading, to be able to steer the ship and be if the captain of the ship is like, I woke up this morning and I have a pounding headache and I don't know where I'm going. And guys,
I just got that scene from Airplane where the pilot is just sweating buckets everywhere as they're trying to figure out how to do something with the plane,
Yeah. And so I think I want to make sure that I can really make that balance of authenticity and supportive, strong leadership of making sure that it feels like a smooth ride for everybody that's hopping on board while also not feeling like I have to repress anything either.
Yeah. And I think that's already something that you're showing in strong ways, but I respect what you're saying in terms of like, so it's a practice, got to work on that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like something you want to keep working on. Yeah.
I'm going to answer this one too.
Yeah, do it.
I hope that my strongest learner profile attribute is open-mindedness. I hope that, like, I want to work on that all the time. And I hope that that's a strong thing. Like, I like to think I don't go in like, this is what's going to happen. I want to hear this other person's opinion. I want to learn from this. And I think there's ways that I can grow from that in different cultures. And there's different perspectives that I think are worth taking on. Yeah.
But I do think that you show that a lot in the episodes of also like, I can literally see your brain working sometimes of like, I never thought about this thing. How am I going to do this differently? And like, you really you've been teaching for you know, this is not like,
we don't have to say how long.
Yeah.
The hair shows it.
You're not a first year teacher. You're not a second year teacher.
Experienced. We're going to go with experienced right now.
But you're still so willing and open to say, maybe my way is not the best way of doing this.
No,
so,
I appreciate that.
No, that comes through.
No, thanks. I would love to be more knowledgeable. There are way too many times that I'm like, I don't know. Kids ask me questions about and like in biology, I think when I'm teaching biology, a lot of kids think I'm a doctor. They're like, you're basically a doctor. I have this pain in my side. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, don't ask me.
What is your, not for you, but in general, what's your favorite IB learner profile trait and your least favorite?
I think the best IB learner profile trait has got to be caring. I think not just care about other people. Like I really hope our students care about other people and they're aware of that sort of thing. But I also think they just like care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Care about it. Like so often we've spoken about this idea of like, yes, you could, for example, use Gen AI or something to like skip the hard part of an assignment or something like this, but care about what's going to happen when you do that versus if you do it on your own. And I just think, if you care about it, then it's better. Yeah. Least favorite is risk taker. It is. I'm sorry. It is. Look, I agree with the sentiment. I agree that like let's be courageous, like, take calculated risks, that sort of thing. What bothers me is that when I mention learner profile to anybody, whether it's students or teachers or anybody who works in the IB, the first thing that comes to mind is risk taker.
Yeah.
And it's like the only thing they associate with the IB learner profile.
Right.
It's like, yeah, risk taker.
Yeah.
In fact, if you ask somebody like, hey, recall, what are all the 10 IB learner profile attributes? They'll be like, well, there's risk taker. It's the first thing that comes up.
Yeah.
So I guess I just don't like it because I feel like it's not overused, but it's maybe misinterpreted and overused.
It's not overused, but it's overused.
But it's definitely,
thank you for my TED Talk.
Definitely overused.
Yeah. Yes. Got it.
Yeah. What about you? Would you answer it the same way?
I think I also like the caring one, but I think I'm going to make it about people because we have at Cognity, one of our core values for the company is we care about ourselves and each other. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's really important to not think of that as like the nice one. Like, if you're somebody who embodies that, you're just really nice because that doesn't actually, it's a completely different thing.
It's kind of limited in its response to being caring.
And being nice isn't always being caring. Just like being polite is also not always being caring. And I think that that's a really important thing for students to understand that difference as they go through school of what does it mean to be genuinely caring, not just being nice.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I see where you come from. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to the bottom of this bowl of questions.
I don't aggressively hate any of the learner profile attributes.
I aggressively hate some of those IB learner profile attributes. Yes. Who is the funnier one?
Of us?
Yeah. Obviously, it's you.
Nah, you're funny. I'm not a joke teller. I mean...
I'm not either. I'm saying serious things all the time. We'll leave it to you to decide.
Yeah, no, we rely on the guests.
Mom.
Are you an IB educator wanting to improve your practice and needing just a bit more support getting there? Have you ever wanted to learn more about a specific aspect of the DP program or ask a question to an educational theorist about a specific IB aspect? IB Unplugged is the place for you. Simply visit cognity.com/IB Unplugged to submit your question to us and have your question explored in more detail in an upcoming episode. And now, back to the show.
The IB buzzword, you're ready to retire.
Sometimes balance really like pushes into well-being. And hear me out. I'm not saying like, let's not take care of well-being. But I just feel that sometimes it's kind of misinterpreted. Like well-being doesn't mean don't do anything, in my opinion. It doesn't mean like I have to just stop doing all the work. And I think sometimes it really kind of goes that direction.
Yeah.
Often when students are they've got sort of a hard thing that kind of comes their way, often we respond with like, okay, well, stop that and go for a walk or something like this. And like, yes, that can be I agree. I do. Don't hate me. I do agree that can be a really useful thing in that particular moment. But I think that there's an underlying message there that says when you have a hard thing, run away from it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's well-being. And I think that, so it's not really, I guess, an IB buzzword, but there's an element of just, this is kind of getting knocked around education a lot. And I think sometimes the way we talk about how to take care of yourself is... we're a little bit less cautious with that or less mindful of it than I think we should be.
Yeah, no, I really agree. And I think just the fact that both of us are sitting here hesitating, like, do I say this? But I'm going to say this too.
We're going to be divided here.
Exactly.
Controversy.
Exactly. No, I think that I have a few thoughts. I have one that stress has become a bad thing.
Right.
And I think stress is a really good thing when it's in healthy dosages. And I'm not alone in this. This isn't profound, but I think it's something that's harder to communicate of if you feel no stress, it's impossible for you to grow.
Yeah.
It has to be part of it. I think you need to make sure that students are equipped with the tools to handle it when it comes up, and they need to be having stress in healthy moderations. And when there's too much stress, there's no growth. It's just you've passed the point of learning and growth. It's just stress. That's the part that's bad. But there's also resilience is one of the most important things about the IB or about education in general is building student resilience. And if you don't work on overcoming stress, then you're not building resilience. And so like you said, it's like if it's just like I'm having these negative emotions that I don't know how to work with, and so I'm just going to go to bed. Sometimes you do need to just go to bed.
Yeah. I'm not harping on this moment intervention.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, I talk a lot about self-efficacy, and I think that's a really important way to be able to handle, demanding things. And whether that's somebody going from the MYP to the DP and now, this is a more demanding thing and I'm kind of worried about it. I talk a lot about the way that we talk about the two programs and framing a narrative around the two. You talk with anybody about the MYP and it's like inquiry and it's fun, it's conceptually based learning. And then you're like, talk to me about the DP and it's like, this is hell and torturous and it's the worst thing you're going to have to do. And I think a lot of that comes down to self-efficacy. And that's this like belief that I can do this hard thing. Yeah. And too often, I think when we start talking about well-being, we equate that with go away from the problem. And I just feel that's a real space that we need to lean into and recognize, like giving people the chance to do a hard thing and recognize that like they learn something from themselves in it and then get through it. Is one of the best things we could do for them and for their overall well-being down the line. Definitely.
Definitely. That long-term well-being needs to be considered, not just in that one moment. How do I make somebody feel safe again or comfortable? Maybe comfortable is the right word.
Yeah. All right. I welcome the hating comments after that
I'm
one.
so sorry.
Sorry, everybody.
Funniest podcast bloopers or off-mic moments?
I think often we kind of struggle with the introductions. Like, we go through and we're like, I got to redo that one. So often I think introductions, we tend to mess up. I guess you'd have to ask Becky, our producer. I'm sure he has plenty where he's like going to cut that thing out.
I also think my eyes were watering with Jen's episode.
Oh my God. Trying to set up Jen's episode and her computer wasn't working.
The screaming cat.
There was a cat in the background just losing their mind.
The cat was so mad.
She was upside down at one point. Like the phone, she had turned the phone and instead of it like auto-correcting, she was just upside down.
She's upside down. The cat is screaming.
And we're like carrying on, like, gotta stay professional here.
So Jen, why education? No, that was good.
I put that one there too. Biggest thing you under-prepared for?
In life.
No. Presumably this is with the podcast, not not like
being a mom.
Parented.
Yeah.
Like
the Swedish winter.
Darkness.
No,
with the show. Biggest thing we under-prepared for.
Yeah. Do you have one?
It'd be, okay. So we just tried to do, we did a live recording in Vienna for the IB days. And we didn't really know what the venue was going to present itself in terms of tech. I was like, I think this is it. I'd been in touch with the person who was organizing it. They didn't know exactly what was there. And so I brought all sorts of stuff. But then when I went into the room, I had a quick look at the board and I was like, oh yeah, we can easily, the soundboard, we'll be able to get our sound working just fine on this. It'll be no problem.
And I said, okay.
And we had 15 minutes to like transition from the last session to our session. And I was like, I can do this in 15 minutes. Just plug this thing in, put that over there. And then it didn't work.
No.
And I realized I should have prepared way better. And so many things went wrong.
Everything went wrong.
Everything went
Except
wrong.
for the actual conversation. Janana, incredible.
The conversation was awesome.
Bless her heart. I think we put 5 microphones on her in
Honestly.
15 minutes. And she's just like, okay.
I'll do that.
Whatever you say.
And I'll talk about some really super smart stuff that you guys don't totally understand. So I definitely did not prepare well enough to be like, yes, we can do this live recording.
Yeah.
I was cocky about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to say that so definitively.
Well, I was useless about it. So is it better to be cocky or useless? I don't know. Ooh, what is something that your co-host does that always makes you laugh?
That always makes me laugh. I think you do. You know when to play. You know when we're kind of playing on something, and I think that's always fun. I appreciate that.
Go ahead.
I appreciate that you're not answering that one. Okay. IB buzzword that you secretly love.
I don't think I can think of one, but I secretly love that I now know most of the acronyms except EURs before that episode. Yeah. But it's like I'm part of this secret club with all these secret acronyms, and it's like, yeah, I know what those are. And then people are like, she knows the IB.
She knows the IB. She knows all the acronyms.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how to answer in a deeper way, but love knowing the acronyms.
Yeah. It's got to be I secretly love the mission statement.
You do reference the mission statement a lot. More than the average folk.
Okay, so not so secretly love the mission statement.
Do you want to tell everyone the mission statement?
I bring it up all the time. Yes, yeah, I do. Develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people committed to creating a better and more peaceful world through through education that encourages intercultural understanding and respect. There you go.
Beautiful.
Right. I came up with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What is one word that listeners would use to describe your co-host? Handsome. Is what you were going to say.
Yeah. Charming. No. I go back to your learner profile one of caring. I think that everybody, like the surface level thing is everyone makes a comment of like, how do you do 700 jobs? So whatever word that is probably what comes to mind first. But then the deeper part of that is like, why do you do this many jobs? Mm-hmm. You don't have to do as many things that you do. Yeah. And you don't have to do all of those things as well as you do them. And all of that comes down to how much you care about all of the different avenues that you pour your life into. And so if anybody's...
I'm tearing up now. Oh, that's really sweet of you to say.
No, but I mean, if somebody shows up to one of your workshops, you're always going to show up and be like, I am not going to waste these people's time because I care about the people who are here. So I'm going to do my job, whatever that means, if it means waking up at 4 a.m. But you're going to come in because you want to do everything that you do with dignity and with compassion and care. So that's what I would put.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's super sweet.
If you need a college reference letter, just let me know.
I do, actually. Yeah, I would like to apply soon. If you could be a reference for me, that'd be awesome.
You want to do another PhD?
Yeah. I would put, I would say, one word. Knowledgeable is the one that comes to mind a lot. I think I really respect your experience and your knowledge, things you know. Like, you have such a breadth of knowledge too that I think just expresses across all these different areas. You'll take care of people. You'll take care of the difficult situations. You like the stuff that is really complex and conflicting and hard. Like, you navigate that so well and can like understand. You can empathy. You can empathize with people really well. Empathy is the word. Who is more likely to go off script?
That would be John.
John, we wrote all these questions down and they've agreed to them. And why are you going completely off that question?
Yeah. I love when we're in a different room and then I'll be like,
where are we?
If you ever see me like flipping back and forth on the brief, it's like, where are you?
I got excited. I want to talk about it.
No, but that's what's fun about it. How would you describe the difference between our first episode and now?
Inspiring. For me, it's been. I hope it's been inspiring for our listeners, and I hope for the people who watch and follow the show. I hope it's been inspiring for you. But I know for me, like, it's been super inspiring to go from the first episode through this last year, talking with the different people. I think obviously, I think we are working better together, and not to say that there was ever bad, but I just feel like we understand each other better. And even if we're, offsite and just kind of looking through the camera, it's like I can understand.
I see the sparkle in your eye.
Crap, he's going off tangent again.
He's got an idea.
Yeah. But, I think there is that element of, I think we work better together, even though there's definitely moments where I'm definitely stepping all over your feet or all over your toes. No, it's inspired over the last year. It's really inspired me. It's inspired my teaching. It's inspired the way I work with colleagues. It's inspired. I think from then until now, I feel like I'm a better professional, maybe even better person because of it. Nice. Probably not that second part.
Trying. I'll answer this one too. When I started the podcast with Catalina, we were so excited and we had so much conviction that this was a good thing, but it was all semi-unfounded. It was like, we did the research, we did the work, but it was like, I don't know, maybe it'll work. Maybe this
goes, maybe not.
So it was like, we were just excited. And I would say maybe what it feels like now a year later is motivated. Where the difference is like in understanding the expected outcome of it, where now it's like we have a year of it under our belt, where I've been able to talk to so many people now that it isn't just my mom listening to it. There are real people that are actually saying that like they have tried some of these different tips and kind of brought a lot of these things back to their classroom, and that I'm like, it's doing what I wanted it to do. And so that makes me even more motivated to be like, we're on to something.
Yeah.
And we're actually helping people, not just trying to. And that feels really good.
Yeah. I mean, it should. And I know I mentioned it before, but really, I really, really appreciate that you saw this medium, you saw this sort of space and recognized like, here's an area, a niche that we can kind of get into that's going to help a lot of people. And, but, you know, it's not just helping educators, by extension, it's helping all of our kids. And, and each of those students are getting better because of this stuff too. So I have a lot of respect for that.
Thank you.
Favorite guest quotes or aha? This is the last question.
Oh, wow.
The bowl is empty.
We got through them all.
Yeah. Favorite guest quotes or aha moments?
Are there any that are immediately sticking out for you?
I definitely have one.
Okay, you go first.
You know, in our second episode with David Spooner, he brought up the weights in the weight room analogy with AI, right?
Yes.
You know, so okay, it went basically using AI in the classroom is kind of like going into the gym and using a forklift to move the weights. The weights themselves don't need to be moved. It's what happens in you when you do that. And that sort of moment has stuck with me so frequently.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I would say it really has kind of it's shifted a lot of the ways that I approach my teaching and learning. And I've used that exact analogy with students, and I've seen it change them too. They recognize like, I'm kind of missing out on a good learning opportunity when I outsource this to AI. Like, that's not the point. I'm not generating new knowledge for the world, you know, and I'm not just trying to jump through a hoop to get a grade, even though there's a lot to be said about that. But I think they just sort of recognize like the point isn't this product. The point is what's going to go on in me when I do that thing.
No, I think that's a really good one. That one, I've referenced it in work a lot of like, this is something we need to be thinking about with the products and stuff like that. I think something else that stands out to me is, maybe this isn't uplifting enough to end, so we'll have to think of something a bit more uplifting, is like how much there is this feeling of like, none of us like the way that students are being assessed. Like, we are all deeply unhappy with the existing way of like, we got to get these kids into these universities. This is what the universities want. This is our current way of evaluating students, but none of us feel good about any of this. And that's come up more than I was maybe expecting it to. And I think that we're on to a lot of great things, like the Learner Passport with Conrad Hughes, with the deep learning seminars with
Matthew Glanville, you know, obviously with the approaches to e-assessment and kind of moving that direction. Like, I was super inspired talking with Matt, and we got to chat with him twice. And you know, yes, I find issues with some of the ways that we're assessing things, but at the same time, when I speak with Matthew and understand like what the aims are and what we're trying to do within the IB and the assessment, like I really agree with a lot of that stuff. And I say like, this is powerful. It can move us forward in a really good way. So I like the intents of it, but I think, my issue now is more along the lines of admissions, recognition, and also just what's meaningful for kids. And I think too often the kids associate meaning with that grade and that number they're going to get. But, anybody who's been in any workshops of mine or has to suffer me as their DP coordinator at school, I'll talk about the diploma program as being a meaningful, achievable, and enjoyable thing. Mm-hmm. It's not torture. It's not hell. It's a meaningful, enjoyable, and achievable thing. And I think too often kind of that stress of assessment or the things that kind of make it feel like I just have to memorize this content pull us away from that.
Yeah.
And so many conversations we've had have really focused in on the skills development, the concepts development, the IB learner profile development. And I think that's the stuff that we recognize you can't, as Matthew said, I never want to assess caring.
Yeah.
I never should. But at the same time, you recognize when we put that at the forefront, then students grow in a lot better ways. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a really positive thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think for both of us now, a year on into the show, we would be remiss not to thank our listeners, the people who are kind of coming in and tuning into the show, listening to this stuff, giving us feedback, checking out the things afterward, sending us guest recommendations and ideas of who to talk to and that sort of thing. Just a big thank you to each of you who tune in and listen to the show and kind of put up with my terrible jokes and all that stuff, or taking us off piste or whatever it is. We're really, really glad that you're listening to the show and you find it useful, and hopefully it's inspiring your practice as well.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. I'm so grateful to be part of this space, be able to, introduce you to people that maybe you've wanted to hear from for a long time or you didn't know existed, and now you're so glad that they existed because they have fundamentally changed the way that you're teaching. So for all of you, definitely thank you. Yeah.
Big thank you to Katie and Zveki.
Yes.
Katie, our producer, who kind of sorts out all sorts of stuff for us from, who's going to be our guest, when can we meet with them and that sort of stuff, and does so much work behind the scenes. And Zveki, who makes me sound coherent, at least.
Angel.
So big thank you to all of you. 1 year in is pretty amazing. And we're looking forward to a lot of more episodes coming up. Really exciting guests coming down the line. And we hope you enjoy IB Unplugged and you stick around to hear all the other different episodes that are coming your way.
IB Unplugged is a Cognity podcast hosted by John Patton and Courtney Marlene and produced by Catalina Gaffney. Be sure to subscribe or follow and share with your fellow IB educators. If you'd like to submit a topic, request, or question, please do so on cognity.com/IB Unplugged. Let's keep the conversation going and support each other in teaching with confidence, creativity, and joy. See you next time.